Hello everyone, I am Saista. I am an education consultant with over 8 years experience. And today I'm going to have a chat with one of my student who just started her course with Northeastern University in January 2023 intake. Her name is Yuvashri. And Yuvashri, I just want you to introduce yourself that you're doing your master's in information systems, but about yourself, which background and from where you come in India. So over to you, Yuvashri.
Hi, as Saista introduced me, I'm Yuvashri. I started my Masters of Information System in the spring 2023. I'm from Bangalore, southern part of India. So as everyone know, it's a Silicon Valley of India. So I have an experience of 5 years in a networking domain where because my bachelor's, which I did was in electronics and communication department. So after which I had to choose which was my major step, which I had which is a long time dream of mine. So I had just gotten to do so.
Great. So I just wanted to understand why have you chosen US as a destination compared to you had other options like Canada, Australia. So why specifically US?
Yes, actually, doing masters was my dream of doing it, but I had always it's always a dilemma to once you think that you have to do masters, so it's always a dilemma. So you will come to a picture where you can start doing it in India as well. It's not just because education is overall what you get the knowledge you gain from it. My perspective is that's what.
True.
So as I told, I had a 5 years of experience earlier. I did had a get a chance to move to UK for working for 2 years.
Mhm.
So I was working over there, so I got to know the culture of the people, how they be, and I had got chance to meet the students over there as well. Although
Oh,
because in and around college students, I got to know so how the education system over there and how it is going on. So when I got to know exploring people and outside world is really interesting and nice. So thinking about that, I already have an education in India, back in India. I know what is happening over there and how it's going there. And yeah, I got an explore with UK as well. So I gave it a thought about let me try another set of countries, another set of other part of the world, so that you get a more exploration, wider perspective, and good thing to know, right? So I had given a chance to US because and it has been said that most Indians do fall for US. That is also one kind of I can take it as a thing that yeah, you had to fall for it as well. So that attracted me to apply for US universities.
US is one of the major, destination where students look forward to study. So I can totally understand and relate because even my lot of students, they look forward first to go to US. After
Yeah,
that, they have their own reasons for other destinations. So I can understand.
yeah, that's right.
So Yuvashri, it's very new that you have just finished your entire admission process and you have, joined your college at Northeastern. So I just
Mhm.
wanted to understand, when you were selecting the university, when you were selecting the program, how did you do that? How did you perceive that, yes, Masters in Information System is the right program for me to take it up to look forward for my career goal? How did you do that? Could you just give some idea on that?
Yeah, sure, Saista. Actually, I wanted to start my master's immediately after I returned back from UK, which is just what I was having a 3 years of experience in my hand. By the time I returned back, the entire world was stuck by pandemic. So I just was hesitated to start my step. So earlier that period when I wanted to do that time, so I had a mindset of doing it in my own background, which is called as an electronics and communication networking background,
Okay.
which comes
Okay.
under cyber security, telecommunications. There are so many departments which I have to take
Correct.
over. So since because of this pandemic, I got a longer gap and I got an extra 2 years of gap of doing it. So when I
Okay.
went on the research and going ahead, so when I got to know there is a systems, there are subjects that combine both your business, your administrative perspective as well as the technical, which give you a more like strength to your skills, right? So that you
Exactly.
can juggle between anything, like not juggle, but you can handle. equally both the things. So when I got to know, then I got to know this information systems. Most of the colleges and most of the universities in US provide the equal like balancing of the subjects and courses they provide.
You can
So
select it. Yeah.
yeah, to be selected. So when I went through all these courses and materials, and I thought that better I could go for it, right? So it's a double dhamaka offer, which I could call it for. So,
Okay.
so that's how I selected my which took me a little gap. So that's why I selected information system. The major difficulty, and I did have a communication with my friends who were already finished their masters and working in US. So when I
Okay.
consulted them as well, they gave me this suggestion was the most best option for you to do so, because you already have an experience in the field, so IT
Correct.
field. This would be much easier for you to take up.
Correct.
And the difficult part was like for me to choose the universities. So which university I will fall. So already since there was a gap, so choosing and this I have to do all alone. So I didn't have any one of my friends. Each one of them had already settled with what they have to do. So that was little bit difficult for me. So that's how I
So,
came in class with you.
if I have to ask you, like, which part of the entire admission process journey, you felt more difficult apart from just finding the university? Like, if you had more time, you could have even, done more research over it, and it could have been even easier for you. So, apart from searching the university, is there anything else that you felt was more difficult and required your time and attention?
More was my I can tell, not the SOP part but the LOR part, the recommendation part.
I can
Getting
understand. Yes,
getting a recommendation was really a challenging task for me, where I have to choose the best person who could recommend me. So
okay,
I know most of the students who come out just graduate, they get a recommendation from their professors or such people. But when I am already back ahead, I have to choose the right person. I have to talk to my office people. I have to know that makes you think that that's the period where you got to know that that's when you have to be very close and very gelling with all the people, so that you
correct,
get a good friend, good support. And when your need such kind of things comes into picture, you need a people to
correct.
recommend you, to know about you. And so you have to do so. So that was little bit quite challenging for me. Then I had to call back to my earlier professors which I had worked on, and few of my colleagues, my managers. I have to talk to them and I have to explain them. And it's little bit a quite tricky part, right? When you when you're working and you go to your manager and tell I'm going for a pod, you have to give me a recommendation. And that's little bit like it'll put down you as well. And you have
Agreed.
to and there'll be a question mark like, oh, she's gonna leave. So it's
Yes.
it's like a total of dilemma and total of confusions. So you have to handle it very like what to say, I don't know the right word to put on. Yeah, very smooth. And that's was little difficult for me. And
In fact, I have seen a couple of students when they go and talk. I remember we had this discussion because some of the candidates and their managers, they don't gel properly. And if
yeah,
you have that doubt, you should never go and ask recommendation. They put you on bench, and you don't
yeah,
know, something like COVID comes up and you don't have a job and you don't go for your masters as well.
masters,
So
yes,
it,
yes.
it is a very crucial and tricky part, and all the viewers, whoever is watching, just be
Mhm.
careful when you look forward for your recommendation. Yeah, you should
Yeah,
be 100% sure that the person is going to support you because
so
it involves the job.
yeah, I
So,
totally agree on that.
one more question. How was your visa process? I mean, I just wanted to know how difficult it was to find a slot.
Mhm.
And when did you got your offer letter to when did you apply for your visa?
Mhm.
And what was the basic question asked? You can just give what happened exactly to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, that's nice, interesting part. Actually, as I told, so I applied for 2022 spring.
Mhm.
I applied for that, and which the process started on 2021 itself. For
Okay.
2022, I had to start my process in 2021, which started in the April,
Okay.
not even April, from March
From
2020.
March.
Excuse me, 20
It's
March.
okay.
So I had to give my IELTS.
You
I
want
gave
water?
IELTS. No,
You
no,
can
no.
have water.
No, thanks.
So we are sitting, where are you connecting from right now? Seattle. I am sitting in Canada. So we are 2 countries away, but I'm offering you water if you want. So yeah, yeah. You want water? You can just take a break and come. No problem.
No, no, no. I'm good, as I said.
Okay, great. Please continue. Sorry to cut you.
It's okay, no problem. Yes. I don't know where did I leave. I think,
So
yeah,
you said about April, you got an
yeah, March period. So
March.
I had to take. I thought of taking IELTS, not the TOEFL one. And to tell before that, during the COVID period, many GREs were been waived off for the many universities, as well
Exactly.
as I had already an experience. By then, by the time I was applying, I was 4.5 to 5 years of experience when at the time of I was applying. So I
Correct.
had got an opportunity of waiving off because of my experience as well. So universities were waiving off for my experience as well. I just have to take the IELTS or TOEFL. So
So
IELTS
you
is
actually, just to cut you, how many years of experience you had before you apply for the universities?
I
Totally.
was uh, when I started, I was having 4.5. By the time I got the admission, I was 5 years.
Yeah. So they consider experience only from the day you apply. What experience you had, that's what they consider. So I think it's 4 years, right?
Yeah, 4.5. Yeah,
Four
four
and a
years.
half. Great. Yeah. Please go ahead.
So then IELTS was much easier because that uh, I felt when I compared to TOEFL, when I had everything, the thing was very easy for me to go with IELTS. So I picked IELTS and I had to do. But the first attempt I couldn't clear with what the expected grade was, so I had to give the
Okay.
second attempt,
Okay.
which I gave it within a 1 month gap. So I once I
Okay.
took it in March, my preparation started in Jan. So I took
Mm-hmm.
it in March. So I couldn't clear it up on like with expected grade. So I had to take with a 1 month gap. I took again in May. So I got 6.5 overall
Okay.
for the thing. Um, then I had to start with my process. Right? Slowly, I started preparing my all such things like SOPs, LORs. Meanwhile, I was doing on side by, so I was all set to go. And so since I thought it's a good time to apply, so I applied. 2021, I applied and I started looking for slots, and it gave me a big drawback, telling that there were no slots given for 22 spring. There were no slots. Literally, I was like totally gone. Like I was down. I was like, okay, fine. Let me. Uh, that was a period where I used to like usually every students do, where they get reconnected to the Telegram, all the groups and WhatsApp groups. You get keep checking of the slots when it comes, and day and night. And I had to go through all this process, but still I ended up with no slots in 2022 spring. And I was like, okay, let me defer for the next semester. And you will not believe, I did for the fall as well. Yes, a fall, of course, that was a period where many of the slots were given. But actually, but that was a period where I got stuck with my work. So
Okay.
so I was not able to move here or there, and I was like, since I was got stuck in the work in my office where they couldn't give me a release, early release or sooner release,
Okay.
so I couldn't join in the fall as well. So
Okay.
and I applied for 5 universities, out of which I got no, 6 universities I applied. I got five. I got approved, of which since I deferred for the second time deferral only, then it came up to three. Two
Okay.
didn't accept for my second deferral.
They do
Uh,
that.
and UTD was one among them. So
Okay. Okay.
I was looking forward for UTD as well. So the
Okay.
second didn't accept me for the second deferral. So
Okay.
then I have to put on, and at the Northeastern was my last chance, and it was just 2 days left for my deferral date,
Okay.
deferral date to happen. Just 2 days was left. For God's
Okay.
sake, then I applied, and they deferred me for the spring 2023.
So they deferred you from spring 2022 to spring 2023.
Yeah, which is already an year. That was a
And
two-term deferral.
Yeah, so two-term deferral is very difficult. Not all the universities support in US. Some of them allow you for one deferral. Some of them don't allow you for one deferral as well. There are some universities they don't. So you're
Mhm.
lucky that Northeastern did that for you. So
Yeah,
that's really great. Just one
and
question. You
yeah.
have joined Northeastern Seattle campus, right? Not the
Yes,
Boston campus, where I see the entire crowd look forward for Boston.
Boston,
So
yes.
what is the benefit you see being in Seattle campus, and why did you choose Seattle campus to be precise?
For any student that want a community, they look for when you're starting a new graduate, being a fresh to the US, and they look forward for going to the Boston because it's a bigger campus, bigger opportunity. You get a bigger exploration. Yes,
Right.
it's a Seattle campus of Northeastern. It's a satellite campus, which is not even compared to one. I think 5% of what is being put up here.
Okay.
Um, because the reason that I had to choose here is two major reasons. One
Mhm.
is like this is an IT hub,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
Seattle is the one of the IT hub where many the fan companies are all located in and around. So
True.
it's being experienced person, so you get to know that I look forward for rather into a studying mode, enjoying mode, because I'm already from the student life to a working culture life. So now it's a complete mindset. My mindset is to of money money, to be very frank. It's That's
Okay.
what you have to earn, and you have to do it. So my perspective of this is like, where you choose in a Seattle campus, you get to see many people of different companies, of major big companies. You get to get a chance to work on with them, which means you get to talk with them when you start working. And I did have a research behind choosing a Boston and a Seattle, and I got to know. I did get to talk to few of the people who did in a Seattle campus.
Okay.
So they told me yeah, there are pros and cons with Boston and Seattle. The major pros of Seattle campus is like, this is what you get a chance to have a speaker session every week of
Wow.
with a speaker session. So you get a speaker session, either it's a virtual or it
Okay.
is a in person. You get to talk to a person directly. Of sometimes some of the CEOs or the fresh startup company CEOs, you get to come
That's
and talk to
nice.
them. And secondly, you get a chance of going for a IVs, which is an industrial visit. So in
Oh,
an industrial visit happens often, at least in a month, twice or once. So it happens in and around like that. So I did get a chance. It just been 2 months I started my college, and I got a chance of going for one IV. I attended recently. Last Friday I was my first IV, which I had to go, and I
okay.
had to experience.
Super.
So that's the one thing that I find it.
That's great. Yeah, we were discussing about the visa process.
The process,
So
yes.
finally, when did you got your visa, and what was the question asked? My last question to you.
Yeah, my visa was, yes, it was little difficult, as everyone were finding it difficult to every student, because there are people who are applying who got rejected were also applying for this.
Correct.
They were in the pool because still they were not working on 100% mode in the visa office, visa embassy office. So I it was really a lucky moment, I have to tell. Touchwood, it's really lucky. I have to thank Saista for that of connecting with you. I will never forget that moment. It was like, I was literally waiting. My deferral letter came on October 13th, which I
Uh-huh.
applied on October 13th. I got my deferral letter, like you got appointed. So my major tension of getting is now
Visa
visa.
slot.
Before the visa slot I could book, I started preparing my visa. Even though I don't get or not, I was not aware of it. I started preparing for my visa interview. Then yes, one night, it's a miracle night. I think October 29th, I got a call from, like, even I was simultaneously working on, but Saista did help me a lot in that case. And night, I think it was 11 o'clock night. And usually I don't watch. And that night I had to put a call of Saista and it's like, "Yes, you have to do it. You have to make it. Yo, what is happening? Your slots are open. Make it fast. You can talk to me later." I
I,
just
I I have called so many students, night 11:30 just for slots because I don't remember. I did that to you as well, but yeah, I have done that to a couple of students, and I also get calls back because some of the students they'll give their login to me. They're like, "You are lucky, you do it," and
yeah.
I have done slots booking at 12 also. But yeah, it is a moment I remember now.
Yeah, it is really a big moment. That is a bigger relief of anything that you do it for a process of getting a visa, because at this moment, usually it was not before the pandemic, it was not the case, but after pandemic, in clearing interviews also is not a big deal, or getting a slot is a big
Getting a
deal, is
slot.
what I feel.
Very true.
Then it did happen. It was just like this. In spite I missed, I got slots in two different places. One,
Yeah.
my biometric was in Chennai, and I have to give the interview in Bombay. For
Yeah,
God,
I remember now.
I had a gap, 1 day gap. So I didn't get a back to back. For my fortune, I had got a 1 day gap. I finished my biometric. I had to move to Bombay the same day, and I had to give the next day. I have to give my interview over there, and I have to come back to Bangalore. So in the interview, it was like interview went well, really.
What was the
So
time of the interview you got it? I
I
hope it
got it
was
in
morning.
morning 8:10.
Okay, superb. Okay.
uh, Morning at 8:10 was my interview. So I was very much prepared and very cautious that I had gone and stood in the queue at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh
I
God.
didn't want to give a chance, and I don't know. This is first my like no, let me go it. And that night I didn't sleep at all. I
Oh
was
my
still
God.
like what I have to do, what I have to answer, how should I be, how presentable I should be, because it's a major thing, and you have to be presentable. Although, and that I think that really has a lot of benefits to tell you, like being
Self-confidence, you boost that.
boost that, and the impression that the other person gives you is also very nice. So I say, that's my personal opinion to everyone who's going to listen to this, and I tell, dress formally and be presentable, be smiling, and be fresh always when you're attending, especially an US embassy interview. This is my personal experience. I had to go, and I stood in a queue. They keep calling and I have to go, and the process went nice, but it took me a little longer. Maybe after going and sitting inside, I had to wait for about 1 year, 1 hour, sorry, 1 to 1.5 hour. I have to wait, and I got a chance to talk. And it was, since I think there, I did see a rejection of 2 3 people of same
Okay.
FISA who were happening to me in front of me.
Okay.
Who had to go around. I don't know what was the reason, because I was so conscious of my own thing, that what I have to answer. I was literally worried of what is going to happen. So the interview went very smooth. Hardly, it was just for me. I think it would have been 60 minutes. It's 1 minute interview. That's what it
Well,
happened for
what
me.
question asked? Quickly, just tell me what were the questions.
The question was like, I went and he greeted me, good morning, everything, and he started with like, like, how many years of experience do you have? And I said this was my experience, and which college, what is your major, what
Mm-hmm.
major you're going to take it, and who is funding your education. And that was my question. And by the
Okay,
time I
these
could,
three questions. Okay.
only this much was my question. By the time I
Okay.
could answer this, he finished and he said, your visa is approved, you can.
And then what you did, you just ran out of that place without turning back, huh?
I was holding on my brother, like, Yoshi, no smiling, no crying, nothing. Come out. I had to come out, and I'm literally in like, did I do that? Did I do that? And I was like, yes, you did it. You finally did it. And that was the questions. And do people, what I have seen is like, I have to give is like, be prepared for any type of question, is what I said. Like, as you trained me, Saista, like, this was very quick and very easy questions that you will be well prepared. But there are questions which we asked, which have seen, like, they were questioning, like, if you're applying for this kind of major, so on that major they were asking questions. Do you know what courses have you gonna take, and have you spoken
Yes.
to the professors? Do you
Yes.
have any idea of what you will be doing it? Or,
Yeah.
the questions can be shooted anywhere at
Any
any
angle.
any
Very true.
angle. you have to be ready for anything. Mine
I
was
know.
like fine. That's how it went.
That's great. I'm glad that you experienced it in all positive ways, and it was almost a year you have deferred it, and now finally you are at the university. So
Yes.
I wish you all the best, and thank you so much for talking to me today. It will be a very, I would say, if anybody watching this video, they'll get an understanding how to plan and proceed and not to give up mainly.
Yeah, sure.
You have to have patience when you're going through the entire process. That's
Yeah,
what you end up to be in a successful university or the location whichever you're planning for.
correct,
So
correct.
thank you so much, Yavashri. It was
Yeah,
great connecting
yeah.
with you.
The small tip from my side to all the
Yes,
people
please.
who are gonna join, who are preparing for the masters ahead. My suggestion is to, before planning for masters, kindly have at least a 1 to 2 years of experience in your hand. Don't right away jump into it, because doing masters, yes, it is very nice and interesting. It's not usual study that we do it from school to college, and that's not the way it goes here. And you must have some kind of industrial experience to understand what is happening here. The projects and the assignments what has been given here is completely on the real time basis. So understanding a real time basis and working on the same method as what IT world is working now will help you to do your masters in much better way, rather coming start in a very blind manner. So I say this is my major tip. And go through all, like, start your course. If you're choosing a course, make sure that you have something understanding about that course, rather just blindly doing it. I have seen, I just see now people here as well, because they find it very difficult, and later they switch to the different departments and interly.
Very
So
true.
that is really a big hassle, right? You come here, you spend so much everything, you spend your time, and you make sure it goes very smooth from start to end. Why you juggle between here and there? So this is a small tip. So don't right away start your masters. Just have a minimum of 2 years of experience of what you're
Okay.
doing.
Okay, that's a hell of a tip. But yes, I somehow believe that it's important. Again, it depends on profile to profile, what they
Yeah.
want to perceive. Like somebody coming from a very technical background,
Mhm.
and if they don't want to waste time and directly go for masters, again, it has both pro and cons.
Yes, I
Yes,
do
even
agree
if you take experience and go, I would say there is no drawback of it. But yes, it will act as an advantage, but there is not a bigger disadvantage if you are immediately planning without experience. But yes, for certain profile, it's
that.
better you have experience.
Yes.
Like for your program, yes, it's important that you have experience, and the decision should be individual, not influential, because a
Mhm.
lot of people get influenced by what their cousin has done in US, or uncle is saying to take this course you will get a job. So that is a perception that everybody has. Even when I counsel students, this is what I get to know. So this is
Uh-huh.
a very, very important point, that they should be clear why they want to study what they want to study.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I completely agree on that.
Great. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Shivashri. It was really a amazing session. I'm definitely sure a lot of students, they will have an eye opener and understanding that yes, it's possible, and they should have certain takeaways, like they should have patience while going through the entire process. And it's okay even if you defer, but don't give up on your dream that you want to finish and do your education abroad. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, and definitely I will look forward to meet you in person. I have plans to come to
Sure.
US.
Me too. Me too.
So I will come and cover the university just to broadcast the campus. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah, that I'll be more pleasure of doing it. So with accompanying you, I'll get a nice chance to show you all the in and around of my campus.
definitely.
Although it's a small one, yeah, it's
Sorry.
always although it's a small one, it's always a pride that I'm doing the masters over there. No, so
Yeah, yeah,
always students pride to
definitely.
show their campus. Always welcome.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Shivashri. I'll see you again, and stay in touch. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. All the best
Bye.
for all the students who are gonna see this.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.